you guys know that one of my favorite shows in the world is, of course, Lucifer. I'm a massive fan of Lucifer. I loved it when it was on Fox. I was very sad when it got canceled. And then Netflix saved it, brought it back to life. And then this season was going to be the final season. And then lo and behold, they delivered more joy by telling us there's going to be yet another season after this one. We're halfway through the season right now. Very excited. It's all looking good. Well, things are going better for Lucifer than even I suspected they were. Now, this little show that just not long ago got canceled on one network, well, the Nielsen streaming ratings have just come out, and Lucifer is number one. Lucifer is the number one streaming show right now. Now, they broke it down to the top 10. They said right now, number one is Lucifer with 1.591 billion minutes streamed. So I think that breaks down to about 100, around 100 million hours streamed. So there's that. Not surprisingly, because we've been hearing about this, Legend of Korra, the follow-up series to The Last Airbender, is actually at number 2. The Umbrella Academy, another one of my favorite shows right now, Rob. The Umbrella Academy sitting at number 3. The Office is at number 4. Shameless, Grey's Anatomy, Project Power, which is a feature film, Criminal Minds, NCIS, and Teenage Bounty Hunters, which is a Netflix thing, rounded out the top 10. Rob, I love seeing stories like this. And one of the reasons I love seeing stories like this is because it kind of highlights one of the things that makes me really happy, which is the fact that this is such a great comeback story as well. Because yes, I'm biased here because it is one of my favorite shows, but it's always cool to see a comeback like this, like a show that was left for dead. It got canceled. The one network, and God bless Fox for bringing us Lucifer in the first place. But they had the opportunity. They were going to just drop it. It was dead. It was gone. Along came Netflix, scooped it up. And to see a show like that just a couple of years was kind of relegated and thought they're done for. It's over. Kind of stand right now as like the number one streaming show, at least this week. Right. We got Mandalorian. This is going to change all the time. But it's just a great story for me to see it, particularly as a fan. Admittedly, a little biased here because I am such a big fan of it, but it's really cool to see. Anyway, Rob, you see this. Does this surprise you? What do you think about stories like this of shows that are canceled and making, kind of statements like this? What do you think of it?
Well, I think what's interesting now is clearly the demographics and the way they're measuring certain shows was not indicative of how many people were watching them. And that was true of like your beloved Battlestar Galactica when it was airing on Sci-Fi Channel, because so many people were using DVRs to watch it or watching it at a later date. So the information about how many people were watching Battlestar Galactica was inaccurate. And so with Lucifer, clearly people love the show, I can't believe they're all rediscovering it or discovering it for the first time. So it goes on to Netflix and you can binge all the previous seasons. And you got to admit, even I have to admit, that show's pretty irresistible when you start watching it. You can't turn it off. It's wildly entertaining. And it has one of the most charismatic lead actors, I think, in any network show over the last 10 years.
Yeah, and Tom Ellis as Lucifer is absolutely fantastic.
He's fantastic. I mean, I'm a straight dude, but I can watch that guy all day long because there's something immediately appealing about him. He's handsome, he's funny, he's got his Cheshire Cat grin all the time. He's great. He's really well written. He dresses his great clothes. What's not to love? So it doesn't surprise me how popular this show got. And I'm sure a lot of people who haven't ever watched it before, once you have it right in front of you to binge and you watch one episode, it's like, oh, give me more. Put it on the mirror. Let me snort that up. That's a great show. I want to get that in me.
It's funny. A lot of my favorite shows right now were all shows that I avoided at first because I didn't think they looked like for me. We're talking about Harley Quinn in a second. That's one of them. Doom Patrol didn't look like it was going to be for me. I kind of avoided that at first. But Lucifer too. Like I said, Fox, Lucifer. Oh, the devil's on vacation in California. Pass. And it wasn't until one weekend that I was just kind of bored and I caught up on everything. And I had a few people tell me that maybe I'd like Lucifer, and I started watching it. And it was just like you described. I was like, all right, now I'm kind of hooked. And I've been hooked ever since, so it's really cool to see. Question is, guys, what do you think about that? I love seeing stories like this, particularly about shows that I love. Jump down to the comment section below and let me know what you think about that story. All right, guys.